Welcome to the Ashes to Rubies daily morning
devotional channel podcast. Good morning, my friends. This is Buddy. Hi, Buddy. He's a pug. The love of your heart. Do you believe you can have a codependent relationship with a dog, or is that only with the world, the human world?
It's a human experience.
A human experience?
Yeah. Dogs give you unconditional love.
I think that dog has a codependent relationship with you.
No. Don't humanize my
You
dog.
went for a walk, like wherever you go, the dog needs to be there. And you went out the door with the other dog for a walk because this dog doesn't
Walk
he
fast
thinks
enough.
he can walk, but like 20 yards in, he's like, tap out. Can you carry me? Carry me, mama. And he sits at the door.
Don't say that word again, okay?
He sits at the door. What
Don't say that word.
Okay. I don't know what word. W-A.
The W. Don't say the W word.
You have to spell it, because they can't
don't.
spell, but they can understand like
they know
20 words.
Settle down.
He sits at the door and he cries the whole time. He just sits on his little haunches and he looks at every movement thinking it's going to be you. So his pug face lights up. You know what I was thinking though today? You know what's hard? And I know we all think this, but you know what's hard? What's hard for you?
What's hard for me?
Yeah.
Getting up in the morning.
Getting up in the morning. You know what's hard for me is change. And so I get that on a bigger scale, but little things. It proved it to me today because I want to do something, just a silly little change. Okay. And I want to change how I write or draw. Do you write numbers or draw numbers?
Write numbers. I
write numbers, and I want to change my 4, the format of my 4, because typically like I go like, I do that one, and it can be misconstrued as a 9, so I want to articulate my 4 better. I don't know who I'm articulating.
Change is hard, though. They say it takes like 21 days to make a new habit.
So I want to do my 4 like this.
Yeah. It takes 21 days to make a new habit.
It's so hard.
So every
I can't even change it.
Every morning you have quiet time where you read and you write a little bit. You read your Bible, you write a little bit, you pray, and you should write 4s.
I should just practice
every morning.
So I am in my quiet time and my personal devotions. I'm in Psalms 40s. Mm-hmm. So today I had Psalm 43, and I had verse 4. So I practiced it and I got it right both times.
New habits are very hard. Very hard.
I'm just letting dogs out.
Bye, dogs.
Yeah, new habits are hard, and that's where they actually get 28-day treatment centers. That's where they get the 30-day treatment centers, because you have a habit that we need to break. But if I could break a habit and put behavioral sequences into my life, then
how many times do we just don't really, I think until we become aware of our behavior sequences, we don't really pay attention to patterns of behavior or things that we do automatically. I like that that's been part of our process of having things brought to our attention, and then paying attention. Yeah.
Well, that's what recovery does. That's what God does. Because when God comes into a person's life, it's this light. It illuminates. So it's a beautiful thing. I'm going to let you read it. I'm just not confident in my reading ability today.
You're still pulling the disability card?
The palsy.
Fine.
You're such a better reader.
Thank you.
I just want to...
Today's reading from The Language of Letting Go by melodybeattie, a reflection on codependency. Is that what it's called?
What's that called when you forfeit?
Daily meditations on codependency.
Like when you just surrender to you're the winner?
Today's reading, I don't know. Okay. Surrender. Today's reading is enjoyment. And one of the prohibitions many of us learned in childhood is the unspoken rule: don't have fun and enjoy life.
What's a prohibition? Like you're not allowed?
Yeah.
Illegal?
Those little unwritten rules. This rule creates martyrs, people who will not let themselves embrace the pleasures of day-to-day living. Many of us associated suffering with some sort of sainthood. Now we associate it with codependency. We can go through the day making ourselves feel anxious, guilty, miserable, and deprived, or we can allow ourselves to go through that same day feeling good. In recovery, we eventually learn the choice is ours. There is much to be enjoyed each day, and it is okay to feel good. We can let ourselves enjoy our tasks. We can learn to relax without guilt. We can even learn to have fun. Work at learning to have fun. Apply yourself with dedication to learning enjoyment. Work as hard at learning to have fun as you did at feeling miserable. Our work will pay off. Stop looking at me. Fun will become fun. Life will become worth living, and each day we'll find many pleasures to be enjoyed. Prayer for today.
Oh, please pray this prayer.
Today I will let myself enjoy life as I go through my day. Why are you looking at me like that while I'm reading? This is a serious topic.
Do you think some people can go the other way?
I think that I think that when we are changing our patterns, okay, first what I think is
we can start unbalanced.
Yeah. So first when we're changing our patterns,
I'm not being critical. So
it can be we can flip-flop the other way. And so, when you first got sober, you couldn't be around any alcohol. None. Like and we left situations and circumstances. We didn't go camping for how many years? Because we couldn't imagine camping without alcohol. And so I think sometimes, we flip-flop when we're making new patterns and we're making drastic life changes. So yes, I have incorporated a lot of fun into my last year.
Like a lot.
A lot of fun. I think it's been really necessary for me.
So then in my context, I would position myself as a victim. So as a martyr, but different from the codependent.
Are we talking you specifically as an addict?
Yeah. So okay. I'm just talking about my context as an addict. I would be the victim. I would be the martyr. And it would create the need for a break. And so that's what it did for me. And so when I came into recovery, I still held on to that martyrdom, that I'm not the saint, but I'm a victim of all of these circumstances. And that's one of the things that would lead me into drinking.
Right.
Because it's just like a position of my heart. The one thing that I didn't like about this reading was the word choice, because I literally don't have a choice but to live the life that alcohol gave me. But the recovery life and God's transformation of my heart, he's actually going to take me from being this martyr and victim to being a son who is loved. He's actually going to change my heart. And so I actually don't have to try. I actually become.
So I understand what you're saying. Let my dogs in. I understand what you're saying, but it's the place where the word choice was used. It actually says in recovery, we eventually learn the choice is ours. And that's the choice to go through the day feeling guilty, miserable, and deprived, or to allow ourselves to feel joy, to experience fun. So I think that in recovery, in the last year, I have recognized that I actually do often go to that miserable place. Let me show you where. This part here of don't let themselves embrace the pleasures of day-to-day living, associating suffering with some sort of sainthood. I still, to this day, recognize that when someone says to me, "How are you doing?" I can be having a really good day, but I need to not just tell them how I'm having a really good, we're doing so great. Like, I'm having so much fun. I'm so happy the sun is out and I'm really enjoying taking my dogs for a walk. And man, this pace of life has just been, I've really dug in deep and it's producing this really good fruit in my life. I'm developing.
But then how would you answer that a year and a half ago?
Or 2 years? No. How do I answer that last week? I need to find the bad. I have to find the bad. Oh, yeah, there's some really hard things. I caught myself and I deleted the text and I was like,
oh, my husband is,
John has the palsy. My back has been sore. Why? Why do we need to tell somebody those things? Because that's not the overarching feeling of my weeks. The overarching feeling of my weeks. If I look back on my week, if I look back on a week and summarize a week, it's joy. Yes, there's some hard stuff, but it's joy. And so I recognize that for me, I have to just let myself, I have to actually allow myself to feel joy. It is really hard for me.
I can look back and go, like, I used to do that in recovery where people would ask how you're doing. And then I would just say all of this great stuff that we're doing. And it's almost like, but I hardly get paid. And we make it like, I don't even know how God supplies all of our needs. And it's almost like, would you pay me? Would you give me money, please? And It's like, I'm awfulizing God's provision almost. Right. And I'm coming under this, like, I do all of this stuff and I hardly get any money and I make minimum wage. I don't know how we make it through a month. If you could just give us like grocery cards or gas cards. And I know that people, like at the beginning of our recovery for like the first 5 years, God brought those kind of provisions. But I would come at it as kind of that awfulizing thing.
I think that like, that's the thing of learning that in recovery, and learning that walking with God, that there is a God who wants to provide for all my needs, and who actually, that if I'm going to walk this new life in like communication with a God, a power greater than me, who wants to restore me to sanity, that I can actually just rest easy. I can actually relax, and I can actually just allow good to come into my life. I can be okay that it's not, it's not like puppies and roses all the time. There's hard stuff.
Pugs and roses.
But if I actually just trust that God has good for me, then I can just let that pass and the next day will come. And the truth is, like, there is sickness. There is really sickness in the world, and there is really awful things. Like we walk through some really hard stuff too, but that doesn't mean that my whole life is awful. It doesn't, that's been
but this is life. And so I can be a victim of life or enjoy life. And I like what you said. And I commend you on your practicing enjoyment, because it just made me realize that I wrote the number 4. I wrote the number 4, how I want to write it. And it's like a reminder, and it's practice. And so you're actually practicing how to be joyful in life.
Yeah.
And
it's sad that I have to practice.
If you have, no, it's sad. Don't be sad. That's the whole thing. No,
but I'm really loving it, and then I love the fact that you've been really supportive. Like
guys, I'm so supportive.
You have been.
All I do is support for me. No, let's all enjoy our journey, our walk.
And there's disciplines that we've incorporated. But there's disciplines that we've incorporated into our life that allow us to have more fun and more joy.
And this week I started back into my disciplines in the morning, and it's like actually bringing me joy and energy. And it's like, it's foundational for my whole day. So bye, friends. We leave you with that. Enjoy the day. Write in the comments what do you do for fun?
What's fun for you?
What brings you joy in your recovery? What are the things? Is it kayaking in a rubber dinghy? Is it scootering along the bike paths of Ottawa? Is it petting a pug? That's so much joy. All right. We will leave you there. We invite you tomorrow to our All Addictions Recovery meeting.
Thank you for stopping by.
I think I'm sharing. Yeah. Bye, guys. Have a great afternoon. We'll see you tomorrow.